It's Wednesday, June 20th, 2012. I'm Rym.
I'm Scott.
It's a long, warm day, and tonight on Geeknights, we're talking about Polar Bear Cafe, Kids on the Slope, and Folktales from Japan.
Let's do this.
I felt like I had to do the opener a little different because I realized last time we did a Wednesday show was early May.
It's late June.
And that show, we basically just talked about anime everyone forgot about in kind of a ad hoc crab people fashion.
That's
how it goes.
I think we're getting some show ideas, so we're gonna have a period of time here where the getting is good.
The getting is getting better.
Before this, I'm sure there'll be a doldrums after it, but for now, we got some topics.
It's goodening.
We came up with a Monday show idea.
And actually, we got a lot of Wednesday stuff to do. It's just you have to watch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
You'll get there.
You could also, if you watch, I've already previously watched a bunch of stuff. If you watched any of it.
But all the things you watched are fucking ass long shows.
You don't have to watch them all. You just have to watch enough to do a show.
I could do a show on Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, we actually have never done a Fist of the North Star show, ever.
I feel like we could do it. It might be
Yeah.
time to do it.
It's always time. What time?
But yeah, it's a lot of people are complaining, not that you guys will care since no one listens to the show right as it comes out, but it's warm today.
It is. It was not warm yesterday.
But it is warm today.
Weather Underground, if you don't know about this website, it has nothing to do with the hippies who bomb shit. Wonderground.com. They basically take data from civilian, and I don't know if they take data from other weather stations, but
Yeah.
they take data from weather stations, and it's like a open source weather website. According to this, the weather where we are right now, it is currently 97.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and it says it feels like 105 in Celsius for you foreign peoples. I'm clicking the Celsius switch right now.
Because you can't do it in your head, can you?
That's right. It is 36.3 and feels like 40. It is so awesome.
I would like it to be a little warmer, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the thing is, right, when I'm biking, there's the tiniest bit of chilliness if you're moving fast. But other than that, it's warm.
Yeah, I'm pretty much taking this. Granted, to be fair, the only time in my life I've ever not had air conditioning in my primary residence was when we were at RIT in Rochester. Didn't really matter.
We had air conditioning.
No, we didn't.
I guess not.
Why would you think that we had air conditioning?
I'm trying to remember.
We schemed about having air conditioning. In the winter, because it got dank, we left the window open all the time.
Anyway, there is something.
You got something to say? You got nothing.
I forgot.
So
I was just gonna say the comment I've been making all day repeatedly, which I won't make after today because I'm
today?
No, because I'm not Rym.
It's a long day.
I like how when you open the door to the outside and if you close your eyes.
Scott, you already told me that.
Yeah, but I didn't tell you on the show.
You've already said that anecdote, though.
I know.
So you can't tell it to another audience.
I'm not going to say it ever again.
But you already said it twice.
But when you open the door to the outside, it feels like you're opening a pizza
everyone's already
oven.
heard that.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, apparently. How's it feel?
I kind of want to bring some pizza outside just to kind of let it cook.
We could go cook an egg on the asphalt. I've done that before.
You need a magnifying glass or something.
You don't.
Yeah, you don't.
No, just crack an egg on the asphalt if it's hot enough. It just cooks.
I don't think it's hot enough right now. Also, the egg would be mad dirty. I would not
No,
eat
you don't
that.
eat it. You just cook it, and then you leave it there for someone to find. We're like, what?
The thing is, if you clean a windshield off and use that, then you'll be able to eat that.
True. A windshield or a hood of a car?
Yeah, hood of a car, too.
Because I was going to say windshield probably not the hottest thing in the world.
It could be pretty hot.
Not as hot as the hood of the car.
Anyway,
let's end this fascinating conversation.
black car.
I went to see A Cat in Paris with Emily at the Angelica. I've been
You went
there in a
all the
while.
way to Paris?
Yeah, there were commas in that sentence.
How many? I mean, there must be a lot of cats in Paris. Which one did you see?
There's just one apparently.
Okay.
Well, and no, there were some other cats in the opening bit, but no, it's a French animation. What was interesting, I saw the dub, and it was dubbed by none other than our friend Sinterniklaas.
Okay.
And the main character was played by none other than Mr. Bloom, Spike Spiegel.
All right.
The dub was fine. I don't know how it compares to the sub though, because I've never seen the sub. But
Yeah.
to Geekbite It, it is a fantastic movie. You should just go see it however you can. Apparently,
It has the opposite of the Wonder Woman problem. I haven't seen it, but Rym says it has the opposite of the Wonder Woman
Yes,
problem.
you look at a movie
it looks
poster,
like the movie poster.
It looks like some amazing, different kind of animation with particular style. It looks exactly like that poster the whole time.
That's amazing.
And it's all super flat. Not super flat, but it's just really flat. There's like no depth perspective anywhere.
Looking at the poster and knowing that it looks like the poster makes me want to see it.
It's pretty good. And I don't really want to say anything else about it, so consider this Geek Bite to be go see this movie or get it however you can.
Who
and
made
see it.
Is it an anime or is it French? Or?
It's a French animated movie.
What's it about, at least?
It's about a cat in Paris.
No plot summary?
I don't want to summarize it because I went into it not knowing what it was about. And it starts out, you're like, all right, there's the cat. All right, cat's pretty cool. And then...
What does the central conflict revolve around?
Jewel thieves and a crazy guy and a murder and some cops.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
the
So now we have a better idea. That's good.
It's better going into it not really knowing. All I got to say is when you see the gigantic giant's penis, you'll know that you're in fact in the right movie.
Okay.
There is a villain. The villain is described early on as a raving lunatic.
He is?
And when you meet him, he is a raving lunatic. Like, to a degree, it was Chekhov's lunatism.
No. All right. So
we would have reviewed it, but Scott couldn't even pirate it, so we got nothing.
It is possible theoretically, but yet difficult to get a subtitled or version because like people are like, oh, download the French version here and get the subtitle file somewhere else.
No.
And I'm like, yeah, fuck that noise.
It's like, yo, 1997 digital fan subs called.
Yeah. So if somebody out there wants to go through this trouble and go through all these sketchy websites, one website I went to was like, here, download the whole thing, and I'm like, okay.
.move.exe.
Right. It was like blah blah blah.exe, and I'm like, I'm not stupid. So if anyone else wants to get viruses and somehow put together a non-virused file with English subtitles built in that are properly synced and such, put that on the Pirate Bay. But if not, I'll just wait to watch this somehow otherwise.
Yeah, it was a good movie though. It was refreshing because Prometheus was pretty good, but I went out of the theater like, all right. I went out of the theater here like, oh yeah.
So there's not really much news in the anime or comics world at all.
I mean, I guess Otacon's coming up.
Yeah, whatever. So I haven't done Scott's Box in forever, just because I sort of stopped doing that. I'm going to maybe bring it back with increased production value. Who knows what? But, so I figure, hey, here's a way to cop out of a news. I'll just quickly go down the list, not of what I've received, but what I just ordered today, because I sent in my order form today, all right?
Oh, from DCBS?
Yeah, so now you will know what to order. But in particular, one of these items is going to be my news. So I'm going to hold that one for the last item. Ready? So here's the order real quick.
All right, I'm ready.
Atomic Robo Flying She-Devils, Pacific number 3. Bakuman Volume 14. I can't believe it's 14 volumes already. Madoka Magica, the manga, Volume 2.
Now, that manga is written from the anime, right? Or vice versa?
I have no idea. That's why I'm ordering it to find out.
I can probably find out. Anyway, go on.
I'm going to check it out anyway. Worst case, I sell it to book off.
Yeah, you might say worst case. I read a volume of the Escaflowne manga.
I can just sell it.
I also read the first volume of the Brave Story manga.
I can sell this.
Bad things
can
happen.
Anyway. Essential Warlock Volume 1. I've been waiting for this. If you don't know, right, when you buy Marvel comics, they have lots of different kinds of trades, but pretty much there's regular trades, which is a recent comic. We bundled 6 issues into one volume.
Yep.
They have Marvel Masterwork, which is you buy a trade or hardcover of some incredibly old comic, all collected in order, nice-like. So you can buy like Essential X-Men, or not Essential, like Marvel Masterworks X-Men Volume 1, and that has the beginning of X-Men, so many issues, all in full color, beautiful paper fanciness. Very expensive. Or you can buy Essential. Essential is pretty much the same thing as Masterwork, only on fucking cheap-ass newsprint black and white. So,
yeah.
So it's like you want to read the old-ass Fantastic Four for like $10, maybe even $8, right? Here's like a whole bunch of the issues all in order from the beginning in a big-ass volume, way cheap black and white. So
a manga adaptation of the series and 2 spin-off manga series.
Nice. All right, so
all based on the anime.
We'll find out later. Essential Warlock Volume 1. I mean, Adam Warlock, that's my guy, so I gotta check that out. You probably shouldn't. Starman Omnibus Volume 2. So the deal with this is there's this DC comic that people can't shut up about that's kind of old and it's sort of famous.
Wait a minute. The last time that happened, I read that god-awful Green Lantern thing.
Yeah, but anyway, this isn't something that really ties in so much, right? This is more like somewhere between Sandman Superman and Green Lantern, like sort of a halfway point. At least that's the
Are there Green Lanterns in it?
I don't know, but it's about Starman primarily, right? So
I don't know who that is.
yeah, that's why I'm checking it out, because it's uber famous. People can't shut up about it, and if it sucks, I'll sell that too.
Yeah.
So here we go. Ready? Pokemon Adventures Box Set Volume 2. This is like a bunch of volumes of Pokemon Adventures for $33.
You gonna buy up through yellow?
I'm pretty much bought box 1 and box 2, and that's it. Not gonna buy box 3.
Why?
Because box 3 is all like diamond, pearl, who knows what the fuck.
What if it keeps up with the goodness? You don't know.
How can it possibly be good after Yellow Caballero?
I actually kind of lost interest. Even by the time yellow came, I was like, I just want more red.
That's right. The only reason that yellow and such is good is because it's like red is still like, sort of like this legend that you can, the legend of red still goes through.
The legend of the first kid who actually paid attention to what Pokemon are strong against what Pokemon.
That's right. That's right. And was still better than his friend who also paid attention. Also, this is awesome, right? There's a Tezuka manga called A Message to Adolf, and it was in print a long time ago in English, but it's been out of print and difficult to purchase forever.
Yeah.
It is now going to be in English and easily available again, so buy it while you can before it again becomes difficult to get and out of print and such.
Not bad.
So, a very important, famous Tezuka manga about Hitler. And the most important thing, Amazon link on our website. Go and click it. This is mandatory purchase for all Geeknights listeners, right? Mandatory purchase. If you do not buy this, just stop listening to Geeknights, and also kill yourself. All
right.
Underwater Welder by Jeff Lemire, $10.39. If you don't pre-order this, you are subhuman. It is mandatory purchase. Again, buy this book.
So when's that shipment going to arrive at your apartment?
2 months from now, September.
All right.
All right. Pre-order price guarantee from Amazon. Does Amazon actually... the Amazon date is September 11th, 2012.
All right, then.
Mandatory purchase, this book.
But anyway, things of the day. So I found this video kind of randomly, and I want to use it because I feel like this kid, if he keeps up this level of video, is going to go in the same direction as the Angry Video Game Nerd and like. He has a video about the mystery of Lavender Town. Since we're talking about Pokemon, you may remember Lavender Town was the creepy town with the Pokemon Tower, a.k.a. all the dead Pokemon and
the
ghosts.
words, the good part of Pokemon where Cubone's mom is in there, but she's a ghost, and you get the Cubone and there's Ghastlies, and it's good times. Isn't that the one where you use the Poke Flute to wake the Snorlax?
Yeah, he explores, the music was creepy, and everyone, like, he points out, like, everyone thought the music in that town was really creepy.
It is creepy.
And he's like, you want proof? Look at YouTube. The video of that song has way more views than any other video of songs in Pokemon ever.
It's true.
And all the comments are like, man, that music scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I was a little older, so it didn't scare me, but it was creepy.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. As a kid, I didn't know when Pokemon appeared. I just, like, when I first learned about Pokemon, I felt like it had always existed.
No, I see. The thing is, I actually saw Pokemon appear in, like, my Game Pro, because I'm already Game Pro. And I saw this, and I'm like, oh, Nintendo's coming out with some kiddie game, whatever. And then, when it actually came out, my brother got it, and I was like, yeah, that's a thing for kids, whatever. Because I was a kid, too, but, I was older, right? So he had a Game Boy Pocket with Pokemon Blue, and then I had my own money, and I bought a Game Boy Color and got Pokemon Red, and that was that.
All right. So this video is pretty good. It talks about... Blue's Raticate and whether or not it died and all sorts of interesting stuff. And I was making Scott watch it, and the whole time he's like, the kid's wrong. And then the kid would be like, now you might be thinking, well, it turns out.
Yeah, the kid knew everything that I knew about Pokemon lore and more. So mad points that he answered the exact things that I questioned.
So kid, props to you. I like this video.
Yeah. All right, so check this out.
I'm checking.
So there's a book, you probably don't know about it, called Ohatmu. It's the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and it has been published like all superhero comics in many different forms and formats and things all over the years. So it's not like you can just buy the whole thing from beginning to end. It's like, oh, well, we put a bunch of big volumes, then we put a bunch of individual issues.
It's got a term, Ohatmu, like PHB or DMG.
Right, official handbook of the Marvel Universe. And basically they publish parts of this at times. And the way it works is it's most of it is just one page, one character. It's a lot like a monster manual of Marvel superheroes, right? It'll give you their name, their relevant information, their origin story, and a picture of them and all that stuff, right? So this blog, ohatmuredux.blogspot.com, basically has every entry in this blog is a scan of a page from Ohatmu, accompanied by some indie artist's rendition of that character, usually in that same pose, but in a new style. And a lot of them are way awesome, especially the ones by Patricio Oliver are the awesomest. Oh my God, I want Patricio Oliver to just draw a whole comic book. I would buy them all. There's also a Rocket Raccoon by David Peterson.
Oh yeah, Rocket Raccoon.
You should come to this blog just to see that and that alone. Also, the blog updates very frequently. It's pretty much just awesome. It's an awesome blog with awesome superhero arts. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So,
Meta moment.
Meta moment. Kineticon coming up real soon.
You should go.
July, 13th, 14th, 15th?
Something like that, I think.
In the Hartford Convention Center. We run the panels department. There's a bunch of stuff there. A lot of guests. Team 4-Star, John St. John. We tried to get the pony guests. It's actually kind of hard now because ponies is really popular. But we tried, and we're going to go for it next year even harder.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it was funny. We were not the ones who were like, guys, I almost said Pokemon, get ponies. And they're like, no. I was like, guys, get ponies. They're like, are you kidding? We've been trying all year to get ponies. They're like, can you get us ponies? Do you know these people?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, they actually thought we did because we knew all the anime voice actors. They're like, do you know any other voice actors? I'm like, no. We know John St. John and like 90s anime voice actors, and that's it.
That's it.
But yeah, that's coming up. PAX Prime is coming up.
Labor Day.
That's not that far away.
It's not surprising.
We got to write this new goddamn panel.
I guess.
The new triple threat.
Seattle.
Seattle.
All right.
Not Walla Walla.
No.
Seattle.
That's right.
It's summer. Shows are a little sporadic. We're going to be in Wildwood this weekend. If anyone's in Wildwood,
great.
Tweet at us. We'll meet you on the beach, but we're pretty much just going to be laying on the beach.
Yeah. So in other news is, right, first of all, I've updated the website recently, but in addition to...
Not that you go to the website.
Not that you go there, but I just added, because now that the website's updated, I can update it a lot in small increments. I added the video section to the website. Now you're probably thinking, why do I need to go to the website, video section of the website? I can just go to the YouTube. You're absolutely correct. You can just go to the YouTube.
Yes, but the videos on the website have collected, for now, a bunch of videos from other YouTube accounts you might not have known about.
Yeah, and basically you can just come to the website and you'll find all of our relevant Geeknights related YouTube videos. Also, I'm going to add some RSS to those videos, which that doesn't have them right now, so that'll make it even easier to say subscribe to our video.
It might also let you realize, a lot of people don't seem to that a lot of our panels and things are on YouTube.
Yep.
Like if you want to see that famous Beyond Dungeons and Dragons panel or the one where we said World of Warcraft sucks for a half hour, they're all up there. You can just watch the entire thing in glorious HD.
Also, now when we post a new video to the website, it'll automatically get tweeted, Facebooked, etc., the same way as everything else.
And you might have noticed we're doing a Google Plus hangout of every episode too. So there's video of us actually like on the site. And you get to see, we do the show, but you get to see what happens before the show, after the show, what we say about...
You're giving people the finger on the webcam?
I am not giving anyone the finger.
Okay. Also, I want to remind people, the new website, since it was upgraded, right, has added a very powerful feature that people do not know about, which is Wiki show notes. You can write show notes for Geeknights episodes if you want. The way it works is this. I could have done a standard wiki, but the problem with standard wikis is spam. So here's how it works. On my GitHub account, there is an FRC show notes public repository. If you fork that, you can then, there's a text file per episode. You just have to create a text file in the correct folder with the correct name. And in that text file, you put the show notes, and you can put any text you want in there. And then you send me a pull request, and if I accept that pull request, your show notes will then immediately appear on frontrowcrew.com on the page for that episode. it's a pretty crazy system where all the show notes are on GitHub, but it totally works because I can do stuff like that.
Now, if we'd only started this before we had like 1,000 existing episodes.
I know, but GitHub didn't exist, and I wasn't smart enough to think of that clever idea. So but now it does, and you can learn Git, and it really isn't that hard. You can actually do the whole thing from GitHub.com. You don't need to learn.
Okay, we don't have 1,000 episodes. We have 830 episodes.
Good job. Some of the episodes, because there was a guy who was writing show notes and putting them in our forum. Somebody went through and copy-pasted all those show notes to GitHub. So good job on that guy, whoever did that. And so there's already some episodes of show notes. So you should go and help out on this if you're interested or not. Why do work for free? I don't know.
Yeah, but one request we've gotten, I mean, we never really read emails on the show. In fact, we tried to always avoid even talking about the meta of the show until we made this like one meta moment, like this specific place where we talk about that crap.
Yep.
So the biggest request we pretty much get, other than, hey, will you come to my tiny convention, is people who are, for whatever reason, fans of this, and they want to get more involved in the Geeknights community. In, what little there is. There's actually a lot. It's just all in the Front Row Crew forum.
Right. So you can
here's
go...
more ways to get involved if you don't want to go into that scary forum where everyone yells at you about grammar.
Right. You can contribute to the show notes by going to GitHub.
If you have some sort of like vested political angle, you can get your angle into those show notes. We're not really going to like curate them too much.
Well, I mean, they have to be accepted by me as a pull request. So if it's pretty much going to be a thumbs up or thumbs down situation.
Yeah, but if you're like Scott was wrong or Rym sucked in this episode, we're going to let that in. Scott's going to disprove if it's like the word penis 800 times in a row with no other content. Notice I said with no other content.
As long as it's actually show notes and not just, links to Viagra, right? Anyway.
Otherwise, like I said, for the other thing, the other request we get is conventions. So seriously, if you want us to come to a convention, if you are not the person who runs that convention,
don't tell us to go to the convention.
Or runs at least like the panels or the guest department.
Right.
We're not going to go to the convention and say, hey, can we come? It's the other way around.
You
most
have
cases.
to tell the convention to ask us to come, right? You're just a convention goer. Don't ask us to go to the con. Ask the con to bring us there.
Because I've had like 3 situations recently where someone emailed me like, hey, would you like to come to X-Con? And I always send my standard response of, yeah, it's far away, so we need, X, Y, and Z. And then, yeah, we'll come. What do you want us to do? And then they're like, I just wanted you to submit a panel.
Yeah.
To this con I go to.
Right. It's like, no, the con has to call us.
Well, no, the con has to call us if it's not on our list of cons we already go to, like PAX.
Exactly.
PAX. We have a short list of cons that we will go to even if we aren't doing any Geeknights crap at them.
Yep.
Pretty much PAX and MagFest.
If you want to bring me to Essen, I'll go.
Yeah, I'll go to Essen.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So we've actually, despite not doing a lot of anime shows, we've been watching a lot of anime lately.
I haven't been watching a lot, but there are 3 shows we watched quite a few episodes of.
Right now,
early
I'm watching
episodes.
The new Lupin, but we've
of
already
course,
talked about that.
But I haven't watched that in a while.
And we
actually.
can't really.
I've watched like 7 or 8 episodes. Then I haven't.
We can't review it until we finish it because, for all we know, it sucks after the last episode I watched.
Yeah, we already did a show on it too.
Yep. Well, we'll do a real review once it's done.
Of course.
Been watching Polar Bears Cafe.
Yep.
Because Mike Toole told me to.
I watched 1 episode.
I saw one tweet about it, and I was like, "What, Polar Bear Cafe? I wonder if that's literally." And then the next tweet from him was like, "Yeah, it's really just a polar bear." And Kids on the Slope, which pretty good.
I watched 7 or 8 episodes. I think 6 or 7, something like that.
And Folktales from Japan, which is
I watched 2 episodes. Oh my god!
Show.
Oh my god! Why don't we talk about that first? Because I'm a guy.
Okay, so Folktales from Japan is one of those short shows, but instead of being short episodes, it's a full-length episode that has 3 short parts.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I'm adding it to our bite-sized anime panel.
First of all, this show, right, is so cute with its drawing.
And the drawing style is pretty different depending on the legend being told.
Right. So, I mean, it's like... It's just, I don't know. It's just so cute, and the animation is so cute, and it's really simple. Like, they're saving money. It's obviously not a big budget production.
It's got 2 narrators who basically tell you the story.
It's the kind of thing, like, when you were a kid, you would either see on PBS Or maybe not even PBS. Maybe like you could see it like at the library, but you could never, it doesn't seem like it's a real TV show, but it is.
It's the kind of thing that you like when you had a substitute teacher in elementary school. They'd show you something like that.
Yeah,
sometimes.
some like old fairy tale, and there's a narrator, and the characters don't really talk that much, and everything's very simple. But despite all that, it's like then the budget being low. The production is not low, as to go with the budget being low. Even though it's simple and cute and there isn't a lot of animation going on, you don't need that much to tell these stories. And what they do, everything they put into it is so great. It's like every animal is cute. They move, enough to be awesome. There's a cute snake.
Well, I think really the strength of it is that,
opener.
Being not Japanese, like I know all the kind of like really big Japanese folktales, kind of like how people around the world know a lot of the big American folktales. There's like a collected set of folktales and legends that most people know about, but I don't really expect someone in Japan to know about Johnny Appleseed or Paul Bunyan necessarily.
Exactly.
Granted, Paul Bunyan might be more well known now thanks to Dr. McNinja.
I don't think Dr. McNinja is that popular in Japan, although he should be.
But beyond like Momotaro and a certain like set of Japanese folktales, I don't know most of these stories.
No kidding, because we didn't grow up as elementary school kids in Japan.
Japanese folktales have a pretty different lilt from the folktales I'm used to from when I was a kid.
So pretty much all of them are the same, right?
There's someone who does something good.
Okay, wait. Here are the common trends in all of these folktales. From I've watched 2 episodes so far.
Should we tell them the trends, or let's just tell them the lessons you should learn?
No. Here are the trends. Ready? Number 1: the honest person always gets gold as like a rewards,
and the nosy neighbor gets fucked.
The lying, cheating, stealing, evil person gets some horrible punishment like poop in the face.
But it's always pretty specific. It's something good happens to someone because they're a good person. Then a neighbor comes into the house and says, "Oh my God, where'd you get all that gold?" And then they hear the story and they go try to do the exact same thing, all evil-like, and get horse poop in the face or killed or something.
Right. So if your friend got rich playing the stock market, do not play the stock market. That is the lesson.
No,
right?
I think
if your friend got
is,
rich betting on horses, don't bet on horses.
Don't be a noisy neighbor or a nosy neighbor.
Yeah, don't be a greedy, right?
Leave your neighbors alone. Oh, more importantly, if there's a magical artifact and someone tells you not to do something, don't fucking do it.
Any magical instructions from any supernatural source, if a Buddha or an animal or a goddess or a princess tells you to do something, follow those instructions. And also the bad people are going to specifically not follow those instructions, and they'll be punished for it. And if you follow the instructions, you'll be rewarded for it.
Unless the instructions come from someone who is obviously bad, then you're rewarded for not doing it.
Yes, it's obvious to be able to tell what the good instructions are and what the bad instructions are.
I think my favorite ones are, I really like the one about the old men with the bumps. You didn't see that one?
No.
There's one guy with a tumor on his
also,
left cheek.
if there's any animals, just be nice to all animals, and you'll be rewarded.
Yep, turtles, doggies.
Foxes.
Well, there's the trickster fox, but he got his.
Yeah, fishies. Anything that's nice, you should be nice to it, and you'll be rewarded for being nice to animals. Right? You'll get to hang out with hot mermaid princess in her palace under the sea for all eternity.
Or you're a dumbass and you leave to go back to the real stupid world.
Yeah, yeah. That's another lesson. If you got it good.
If you're in paradise, don't leave.
That's right. If you got the reward, enjoy.
If you think I should really go out and see my family, no. That
is one thing I noticed, right? In an American folktale, right, or a fairy tale, you would often see a situation where someone would get a reward and say, "No, I don't just need the reward because I'm such a good person."
Yep.
And this, it's like, I got rewarded with gold. Enjoy the gold.
Like
don't get greedy looking for more gold, right? You got the gold or reward, usually gold, because you were
sometimes fancy cloth,
right? Because you were genuinely nice and honest, and you got rewarded for it. Don't go greedy looking for more rewards, because that turns you into the bad person. You'll lose the reward. But and don't go just trying to be honest or on purpose to get rewards. But if you got a reward,
those monkeys carried that guy away and gave him gold.
Right.
I'll do the same thing he did.
If you got an honest reward, just enjoy that reward. Right? Don't go giving it up or anything like that. Just enjoy it, because otherwise, no good.
But also, I think the most interesting one for that, because I didn't expect the outcome that happened, was the guy had the dream about the treasure, and the other guy's like, "Let me buy your dream from you."
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes to try to find that treasure. And I thought the moral was going to be the guy who sold him the dream was just smart and basically got some free money out of him because the other guy was an idiot. But then there was really gold.
Yeah.
So
The dream
He was honest for buying the dream.
And then the guy who owned the land that had the treasure split it with him 50-50, which is sort of like, okay. That was a little weird.
But seriously, if you're evil or a bad neighbor or a nosy neighbor and you think you're going to get a bunch of gold because you're going to do this plot, don't burn all your clothes before your husband comes back with the gold.
Yeah.
He's not coming back with the gold.
This really makes me wonder, like, how Japanese culture, like, neighbors are viewed, right? Because the only Japanese, like, I mean, I only really know anime.
Every neighbor in these is a dick.
The only anime or manga I can think of where there's neighbors that are, like, good and friendly is Yotsuba, right? Yotsuba has awesome neighbors. But,
here's Greenwood. The neighbors are awesome, but they're not good.
Neighbors? What neighbors are there?
In the other rooms in the dorm.
No, that's dorm mates. That's not the same as
not
neighbors.
the same?
I'm talking about you're in a house, and the people who live in the neighboring house, the house next to it.
Usually those people don't exist in anime.
That's what I'm talking about, right? But in a lot of U.S. culture, right, neighbors happen a lot. Dennis the Menace, neighbors.
And it's always bad. So
Right? Steve Urkel, neighbors.
Bad.
Right? But that's what I'm saying is that
So wait, in both Japan and the U.S., if there's a neighbor in a story, they are bad.
Mr. Rogers.
It was his neighborhood, though. Maybe all his
Sesame Street.
Yeah, all his neighbors
I'm
were
saying,
good.
and we have good and bad neighbors in a lot, right? It seems that neighbors, at least in animes and mangas that
At
I
least
have
in
read,
this one show that we're following,
that
too.
are right. The animes and mangas that I have read are rare, and in my exposure to their folktales, neighbors are frequent but always evil.
Well, not really evil. One of them was evil. The
Greedy.
one who murdered. One guy
Greedy.
murders a dog.
Greedy and mischievous and
yeah,
annoying.
They're greedy and usually kind of dumb.
and nosy. All right.
Yeah, and if you're ever in the mouse paradise, don't pretend to be a cat.
That's right.
'Cause
So
that-
anyway, this folktale show is totally awesome, and you can not only laugh at these awesome folktales and enjoy them, but learn about folktales from a foreign culture. I really want to see this show from other countries. I want the Russian cute folktale show, the Indian cute folktale show, the African cute. I want to see all the folktales from the whole world like this.
There probably are shows from all those countries that are
Australian
like
folktale
this.
show, French folktale show. Hook me up, yo. Hook me up. Give me them all. And it's on Crunchyroll. You can just watch all the episodes, at least as they're coming
And
out.
if you watch it with Scott, in the opening credit when it says what
I'm
the
always
name,
going to point out the snake.
one of the animals moves, and Scott will be like, "It was the snake.
It's pretty
the
much
bunny."
Every episode is the same. It's always snake, then chicken, then bunny is the third one. Snake, chicken, bunny. Snake is the best.
Scott pays a lot of attention to this.
Snake is the greatest.
It's a pretty good show.
It's a really good snake.
So, before I knew what Kids on the Slope was about,
I knew it was about jazz. I knew it was by Watanabe with Yoko Kanno.
so that's the thing. All I heard was someone said, "There's a new Watanabe show coming out, and Yoko Kanno's doing the music." And my brain said, "Cowboy Bebop! It's gonna be Cowboy Bebop or something like it."
I know it's going to be heavily musical, just like Samurai Champloo and all those other shows.
It's a pretty good show. It's not like Cowboy Bebop though.
No, so I watched probably more episodes than Rym has, right? I think
I've
of
only
this
seen
one.
like 4, and I fell asleep during one because I just
Yeah.
got back from a trip.
So what I actually like about this show so far is, number one, it's about jazz, right? And it sort of leads you in this direction, thinking it's going to be typical anime tropes, right? Transfer student is sort of the main focus character, moves into town, goes to school, there's some bullies and a girl, and it's like, I know where this goes. Same old, same old. Only there's the jazz music aspect.
I thought it was gonna do the twist of it's the same old show, but it has the kind of like getting you into an anime about jazz.
Right, so I thought it was going to do that, but it actually, so far, hasn't done that. It's like the jazz is there, but it's not doing a Hajime no Ippo, Shonen Jump sort of, or Bakuman teach you everything
it
about
name
jazz.
Drops, but it
does
drops
name drops
as
you
though you should know.
Right, and all it does is jazz is just the thing that is bringing these characters together, and it's mostly about the characters, and their dramas. And jazz just happens to be this thing in their lives that is like, the good, awesome thing that is awesome.
Yep, I like the show a lot.
The reason I like it is because after you watch a few episodes, you can see that these characters do not behave the way the anime character should behave. For example, what does a typical anime character do when there's a girl? Avoid talking to her. Never, right? In this show, it's like, hey, what's up? right?
Yep.
Totally opposite of what anime characters do
If
in
there's
the
some
typical
bullies,
animes.
it's gonna hang over everyone's heads forever and escalate, and then be like a plot point. Here, he just beats the shit out of them right away.
They fight the bullies right away, and then they're only there occasionally, if at all, right? And it really sort of gets into like, this sort of, and the plot moves, right? It starts off for the school is a larger factor in the opening episodes because they're introducing the characters, and it's like, oh, the bad guy sits in the back of class. Later episodes, you're not even seeing the classroom. It's just not even there. It's all this stuff outside the classroom, and they keep bringing in, it's like they bring up stuff that you think is going to show up like at the end of the show. Like, oh, his dad isn't around. His dad is traveling military, something like that. His mom is who knows where. It's like, and you're like, oh, we'll learn the mystery of his family, like episode 26. It's like, no, you'll learn the episode that his family's going to show up right away. No mystery at all. And it's like, oh, we know where mom is. Let's go see her. Okay. And I really like that. Moving right along, not cutting corners, progressing. But even as they progress and resolve these plots, they don't completely resolve them, right? They move them, and then the goalposts go farther out. So
you know what? Another show that did that was Nana.
Exactly.
Nana was like, all right, here, like, I expect the plot to be the thing about like meeting that guy again, and then they get there.
Right.
They meet him again.
It's
and
sort
then the
of, in fact,
is,
it's almost just like Nana.
And you know what? I really
less,
like Nana.
It's a little less
soap opera-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little less.
Now, what is both the strength and like the worst thing I can say about the show is that it doesn't need to be animated. I like it, and I have no problem with it at all. But it doesn't scratch that like crazy anime itch. It just scratches it's a good show to watch itch.
Yeah, I think this would be like, you might as well be a manga anime wise because it's mostly people talking and not a lot of action.
But with the music.
But you need the music.
Yep.
It's about jazz. So how
it's the same reason why Nodabe Cantabile, like the manga.
It is a manga that's very popular.
Yeah, but I couldn't read that manga. It's actually pretty boring. But then watching the show, I loved every second of it.
Is there anything else to say about it?
Not really. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. We're just saying it's a show you should watch.
Yeah.
It's not like all the other shows we're talking about.
If I could say a negative thing about it, I would say that none of the characters are like super awesome, right? Usually there's someone in a show that's like, that's the awesomest dude.
There's like one Bunta.
Yeah, a Bunta or, who's the guy in Full Metal Alchemist who got killed? Right? There's
spoilers.
Yeah, there is no one in the show who is like super awesome. The main character is like, he's got good parts and bad parts, and pretty much
reminds me. You know what he reminds me of?
It's almost too realistic in that every character has awesome parts and not awesome parts, so that there's nobody you can really say like, that's the awesome guy. I'm rooting for him all the time.
The main character reminds me a little bit of aspects of both main characters from Karikano. Just a little bit. Like I thought of that show.
He's got some jerkiness going on that's not in Karikano.
But I found it interesting that watching the first few episodes, I thought of Karikano a couple of times just when characters did certain things.
Yeah.
That's the show everyone forgot about.
But anyway, there's no awesome people, but I guess maybe the dad who owns the jazz shop is awesome.
He's awesome, but he has not busted out.
You don't see him at all, right?
Other than that,
he's barely in the frame, and he says like maybe 2 lines.
He's very strict. We get that.
That's all.
Especially about the jazz.
Right. You're not allowed to go in the basement
unless you're jazzing.
That's right.
Not jazz hands.
And he plays the bass.
So Polar Bears Cafe.
I only saw 1 episode. How many have you seen?
I only saw 1 episode.
Okay.
It is.
So this is a review of 1 episode.
That's fine. You know what it is? This is a show about a polar bear runs a cafe.
Well, that's the thing, right? The show is called Polar Bear Cafe, and there is a literal cafe run by a polar bear who's pretty cool. But the first episode focused entirely on this panda who is trying to get a job there. Well, he's trying to get a job. Well, you didn't want to get a job. His mom was making him get a job.
With a vacuum cleaner.
Right. But anyway, so the Polar Bear Cafe was almost secondary, and it focused mostly on this lazy-ass panda who wasn't getting a job and was laying around his mom's house all day doing nothing and wanted to do nothing. It was super lazy because he's a panda. He just wanted to eat bamboo because that's what pandas do. And I wonder if in the later episodes, the focus goes off the panda to these other characters.
I'm pretty sure it does. It's not the Panda Bears Cafe.
Yeah. But I want to find out about the polar bear and his cafe. I don't really care that much about learning anything more about the panda.
But I like it's one of those odd shows. It's very atmospheric. It's very punny. Like those kinds of jokes.
That's the only thing. The polar bear is a pretty serious dude, except for when he always does a million puns whenever he can, and that's like his deal.
But here's what I like the voice actor like of the polar bear.
Mm-mm.
You know who that is? It's Takahiro Sakurai, and you probably don't remember him.
Don't know who that
He
is.
was the main character in Gatekeepers.
Okay.
You know, Shun,
Yeah.
Gatekeepers.
Yeah.
That was the biggest show for a little while.
For 5
at
minutes.
RIT.
Because it was the only digitally fan sub show.
Yep. And then Gatekeepers 21, which I never even watched.
I watched like 1 episode.
Yeah. But for some reason, that show for us at that time was the best show ever for like
5 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
Gate open. Let's do a show on Gatekeepers.
You can open the gate. We got to watch it again.
Have we done
There's
episode
no way
on it?
I'll search.
Anyway.
But anyway, something else I found out. This is directed by the same person who directed Cheese Sweet Home.
Oh.
It's got almost the exact same kind of pacing. Like a character will say something, and
Was
then
there a
it'll just-
manga for Polar Bear Cafe? Because
I don't know.
Cheese Sweet Home has a manga.
This is why we're not Anime World Order.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it does that thing where like a scene will start and the characters are kind of just sitting there for a while, and then someone says something, and then the camera stays there for a little while after.
It's very short on dialogue. They don't say any words they don't have to say.
Mitsuyuki Masahara.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know who that was until now. So.
Okay.
But Cheese Sweet Home, I can see. I also learned there's a sequel to Cheese Sweet Home that I didn't know about.
Cool.
I feel like I got to get back into the anime loop
Nice.
a little bit.
So the other thing is the way the show works, right? It's like, well, the polar bear runs the cafe. It's some world that looks like modern day Japan, except there are normal people who are humans, 100% just humans, and there are animals. And the animals aren't like furry animals where they're like cat people.
They're
or
just
polar bear
animals.
people. It is a polar bear. It wears clothes, but it is a polar bear.
I love the polar.
the panda is a panda.
I love how at the zoo he interviews for a job that's like be a panda at the zoo.
But these animals interact with society as if they are persons, right? So even though it's biologically a panda, it talks. It has, I guess, the equivalent of a social security card. It has jobs and a house and money, and
Well, he doesn't have a job,
right?
for
Well,
a
I mean,
while.
but I mean, it might as well be a person that is just biologically a panda with a human brain capabilities.
So maybe we were talking about this when we watched the show. Maybe it's all just people, and these characters are being represented.
That's what I'm thinking.
As their spirit animal.
Yeah, it's actually all people, literally, but instead of drawing the panda as a person who has the spirit of a panda and acts like a panda, so they draw him as a panda and call him Panda, but it's really a person, but it doesn't matter that it's really a person. Right?
That reality will be ruined in like episode 3 when the polar bear
I'm
just
sure.
mauls someone randomly and then the show goes back to normal.
Right. So it's kind of funny. He gets a job at the zoo, right? And he has to like perform for the nursery school
But that
people.
other panda's a full-time panda.
Yeah, he was just a part-time zoo panda.
Part-time panda.
Yeah. But it was funny was the nursery school kids all seem to be human, right? You didn't see any animals in nursery school?
Animals don't go to school.
I don't know. I was under the impression the panda was in school but graduated and didn't want to work. I don't know. Whatever. But
Anyway,
yeah, it's cool how the animals, it's sort of like Damako Dobutsu, in which the animals express their nature, right? The panda acts like a panda. He's lazy and he wants to eat bamboo, and that's it.
Yep.
But
Well,
it's not like
except the polar bear, because polar bears aren't necessarily known for their puns and cafes.
maybe they are in Japan. I don't know. But
I don't think so.
the thing that differs from Damako Dobutsu is Damako Dobutsu, the animals are the opposite of their nature, right? So the wolf was all, sappy or whatever, right? In this, the animals match their nature, right? So if there was a wolf in this, he would be all eating people, like, hey. But he's not. There isn't. I don't think. What were the other animals? There was a sloth, right?
Yep.
And a polar bear. And who was the guy who was always at the counter?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
We just watched it.
I know. Anyway, the animals are like the best characters.
It's a cute show.
Yeah, very good. Oh, right. There's the whole part where he's interviewing animals
And everybody sucks.
and all the animals match their nature, so none of them were good for working at the cafe.
So then he's like, I've decided to hire this girl.
The human girl is the best worker for the cafe. Of course.
But it's a cute show. I like it. Actually, I like all 3 of these shows.
I'm gonna eventually watch all these shows.
Yep. I'm going to finish Lupin first.
And definitely that's a higher priority show. But yeah, there's suddenly, right? There's no big name, new, awesome animes like Madoka unless there's one I don't notice happening right now.
I think we'd notice. I mean, remember, when Madoka came out...
We didn't notice Madoka till it was 100% done.
Yeah. But we noticed. I knew it was
There's
the
a
thing.
giant thread in our forum.
I just didn't watch it, but I knew about it. I knew that's the big anime that everyone's
Anyway.
talking about right now.
So there doesn't seem to be a big anime right now, a Madoka style that we want. But there are plenty of good animes happening right now suddenly that are the smaller, under-the-radar animes that are good for people like us, but maybe not good for the anime community at large. You're not going to see Polar Bear Cafe cosplay. If I do, oh my gosh.
I think there will be, but it'll be it'll be like our crowd or Mike Toole's crowd
Right.
or Daryl's crowd. Those people will dress up in a duffel hat.
You're
like
not
the
going to
polar
see
bear.
Japanese folktale cosplay, dominating the conventions ahead of, say, the Bleach cosplay. But
Bleach, I think you mean Homestuck.
right, exactly. But anyway, there are these good under-the-radar small-time shows that are kind of awesome, and if you really need an anime to watch, and you really don't...
And guess what? They're all
and
just
there's
on
nothing-
Crunchyroll.
and-
You can watch them legally.
Yeah, you can watch all these things legally. I think they're all on Crunchyroll. Kids on the Slope is Crunchyroll, Lupin is Funimation. The rest of them are all Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Free. So if you really need an anime.
It's an
is what you
aside,
do.
but, like we talked about in the churn, something that's happened is that for internet types, anime has gotten pretty mainstream in that a lot of people watch these shows. A lot of people like anime.
Yeah,
but they
enough
don't
people
engage.
enough people are watching these folktales to where it's worthwhile for Crunchyroll to pay to get the rights to put it on Crunchyroll and to sell ads on it.
But I think what happened, we talked about this in the last show too, but specifically, most of the people who are watching anime nowadays, I don't think are engaged in anime fan culture.
Yeah, I think there's people who go to Crunchyroll who are watching these shows who are not going to cons, not going on message boards, not reading Anime News Network, not doing anything like that. They're just going to Crunchyroll and watching these shows, and that's
I think there's three categories. There's what you said, and then there's the people who do those things and go to anime cons. So they seem to be the minority at the anime cons now. But there's a third part. I think there are people who do read Anime News Network and they engage in a lot of the online stuff. Like they'll research anime, they'll be into that stuff. They'll post on the Anime News Network. They just don't go to cons at all. Because the cons have a lot less anime stuff than the internet does these days.
Yeah, I mean, Homestuck is the best anime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the most popular anime.
Sure.
That and My Little Pony.
Yeah. Okay, we're done.
I think we're done. This has been Geeknights with Rym and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.